Can you hear me now? Cool. Okay. Let's try this again. Now can you hear me? Once you change scenes, yes, now you can hear. Yes, okay, cool. All right, sorry. So, a little echo. Really? You're getting an echo? No, you're not getting an echo. You figured out what? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna change this back. You should still be able to hear me, but now I also have audio. Sorry, I spent all weekend setting up a whole bunch of stuff, and this is the first stream since I did that. So while I did extensive testing, I forgot a couple things, and that's why there was no audio on certain scenes. There was only audio on the one scene, and I hadn't shown that scene yet. So we should be good now. I'll need to remember to add the audio to the other two scenes that I have, because there's currently no audio to them. But it's good to see you all. Thank you for showing up here on Halloween. We did a little dressing up because we're doing something a little out of the ordinary for this particular channel. We are not playing Baldur's Gate tonight, but we are still doing Roll for Choices. We are playing Slay the Princess, and we are going to be doing sound balance. You're a bit faint compared to the background music, okay? Check on that. How's that? Feeling good about that? How we feeling about that? Is that sounding better? I do want to make sure this sounds good. Maybe? Okay. So I'm just going to continue on then. So, better, but music is still a bit dominating. Okay. Give that a shot. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep going then. So, yeah, I try to get it. So, just trying to do. Thank you for watching. Happy Halloween. We're gonna play some Slay the Princess tonight. It's gonna be Roll for Choices. We have. Love Sean. Thank you, Sean. If you're interested, we have commands back in the Twitch chat. Sergeant is now working again. If you're interested in checking out any of those commands, I just posted the link there in the chat. Sergeant is mostly functional. He doesn't have all the commands that he used to 8 years ago if you're watching from way back when, but he does have some commands. Full list is there. He can interact with you. And then I'm also simulcasting, so that's kind of the big news, is that we have simulcasting available, and simulcasting is now a thing. You can do that on YouTube, you can do it on Twitch, you can do it on TikTok, you can do it wherever at the same time. There are some limitations, as I'm finding out. Just because I had never owned a TikTok account prior, I made a TikTok account intending to stream to TikTok tonight, and I can't. I think it's just a limitation on like how many followers you have. I'm assuming something along those lines to be able to actually live stream, which I don't. So I don't think I actually have a post for that somewhere. I have socials somewhere. And TikTok is new, so I probably don't have TikTok posted. And the same with Instagram. Instagram has its own live studio functionality that they have not given to everyone yet. And so until I get access to it, I won't be able to stream to Instagram, though I have the setup to be able to do both of those. So in the future, look out for those. For now, though, we are on Twitch and we are on YouTube. So hello to everyone over on YouTube who has may or may not have been missing me. I also have like a new little chat thing that gives me... I can't post it. That is one of Twitch's stipulations, is I'm not supposed to post chat on my screen if I have multiple multiple streams, or multiple platforms going on at the same time. I'm only supposed to post chat from one. Dan Clancy, the CEO, recently did an interview with Harris Heller where he kind of laid out basically like, we're not going around banning people if they do, but we don't want the liability, so it's in the rules. So, for the sake of just making sure that I don't cause any problems, I'm gonna do a thing with, what? Sergeant. Thank you, Sergeant. Sergeant's posting things that I wasn't aware that he could post. Anyways, we're gonna play some games. I'm done talking. Let's play some Slay the Princess. This is Roll for Choices. If you are interested in checking out any of the Roll for Choices rules, it's !RFC for the Roll for Choices command line to see the rules and stuff. Content warning for anybody who is new to this game. Whatever horrors you may find in these dark spaces, have heart and see them through. There are no premature endings. There are no wrong decisions. There are only fresh perspectives and new beginnings. This is a love story. Good talk. Thank you. I try. So let us start. I have not played this. I have briefly seen it on a couple of streams, but I have not played this at all. We are going to be rolling for all of our... Should I set this to auto? I kind of want to set this to auto, especially because so this is a visual novel. So I kind of want to set this to auto, and then I'll just roll whenever a choice comes up. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh goodness! Oh goodness! There's so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 choices. So we're gonna roll a d12 and drop the 12. We'll re-roll on a 12. But yeah, wow. We got new dice. We got new dice for the game, and of course, the first roll is a re-roll. Not me learning about auto now. I know. It comes with practice. I've played a lot of visual novels. I love visual novels, to be completely frank. And yeah, they usually come with an auto feature, which just the narrator will just continue talking. So let's roll. Let's see if we can get one that's not a 12. 2. Explore. Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up? Fair. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Are you supposed to hear a narrator? You should be hearing a narrator, and you should be hearing some music, some like piano music in the background. You don't hear the game at all. Oh, what's going on? Oh, goodness. Hold on. I know how to fix this. You're going to see some behind-the-scenes stuff for a moment. I apologize. Boop. You should now be hearing the game. Yes, okay, good. Yeah, a little glimpse behind the scene. Hope I didn't ruin the magic there. But okay, so we rolled a 9. I apologize, you did not hear the narrator. I don't know if there's an easy way to go back, but the game itself is actually pretty short. We will probably get through 1, maybe 2 playthroughs tonight, maybe. I don't know exactly how long each session is. So you might hear that opening narrative again here shortly. 9, so silently continue to the cabin.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Proceed into the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
2 choices. So for 2 choices, we're going to roll a d4. On a 1 or a 3, it's the top choice. On a 2 or a 4, it's the bottom choice. That's a 3. Explore. Take the blade.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Enter the basement. At this point, so Kat, specifically for you, I know anybody who is worried about the previous content warnings of this game, as soon as we get into the basement, it's going to be fine for a little bit, but then it might start getting wild. I have not played this game, and I do not know where every choice leads. Basically, as soon as we enter the basement, that's when you want to start worrying about those content warnings. So if you are concerned about anything that might be relevant to psychological horror, body manipulation horror, body modification horror, things along those lines, this may be your point of no return. Just throwing that out there. I love you all. Let's enter the basement. And I could be wrong in that we don't see anything for a little while, but
creaks
just
open,
safe side.
revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
1, 2, 3, 4. Continue down the stairs.
Good. You're still listening to reason.
This is a very Lindsay playthrough
Walk
already.
downstairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Like, this is already very like, yeah, all right, let's go do this. Let's go do the slaying. I swear, these are new dice too. These are brand new dice. I made these specifically for this game, so it's not the dice. I think the spirit of Lindsay just inhabits the roll for choices. Got 6, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't decided yet.
How about you drop the knife and the two of us just talk?
Look how reasonable she's being. We should just drop the blade and talk things out. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. Killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Tighten your grip.
You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it.
That's a
So,
scarily good point.
You should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What if she isn't bluffing? What if she kills us?
You go into this expecting to die, you're going to die.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other?
I'm not dropping the blade.
Then I'm not talking to you.
Fine. Then I guess we're at an impasse.
I guess we are.
For the love of everything, just slay her already. Or drop the blade. Do something.
Are you sure you don't want to talk?
Yeah, I'm sure.
For goodness sake, the two of you can't just stand around like this forever. Eventually, something is going to give, and I highly recommend that you be the one to take the initiative here.
Drop the blade. Okay, I guess this isn't Lindsay after all.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Six, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Five. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's people out there who think you're going to end the world. What do you have to say about that?
Don't just tell her that.
That's cute. Do you believe that? Do you think I'm some sort of monster? If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was hoping you'd tell me.
Ending the world seems like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you, either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
She has a point. There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch, no less.
It's a 3. 1, 2, 3. What's your name?
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her.
A relationship? Are you coming on to me? Some of these answers. Okay, we've talked enough.
Oh? Have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
2, 3. Slay the princess. I was wondering when we were going to get to that.
Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through.
Oh, really?
A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw.
Interesting.
It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has been fractured. Holy shit, that hurts! Though she's unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing. Your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit. We can still turn this around.
I guess it's not as easy as just making the choice and slaying her. Flee and lock her in the basement. Okay.
Are you serious?
I guess.
It's a good idea. We've taken some bad hits, but we've dealt some too. She has to be feeling it more than we are. Let's regroup upstairs. If we're lucky, maybe she'll just bleed out. Fine. You make a mad dash to the basement stairs, the princess's chains rattling as she tries to chase you, but pulling taut much too soon for her to catch up.
Do you really think you can just walk out of here?
She steps towards you, ignoring her chains. They creak and strain as she pulls against them until finally they break. The links clatter to the floor. Useless. She's free. Hurry. You push your broken body as she closes in and just barely manage to pass the threshold of the basement doorway before she catches up to you. You close the basement door, locking it behind you and quickly barricading it with the heavy wooden table that once held the blade. Okay, we can make this work. She has an awful wound and we have all the time in the world. Playing jailkeeper for a while might make things a little easier. You settle in against the far wall to watch the basement door. It isn't long before you start to drift off, your eyelids heavy with fatigue. But sleep doesn't come. Instead, your rest is broken by a piercing, wailing voice calling out to you from the other side of the door.
I know you're still there. Why don't you make things easier on yourself and let me out? It's not that this little door will hold for very long anyways. It's probably a good idea to try to get back on my good side.
She sounds terrifying. Like she's less of the princess you saw and more like something out of a nightmare. As she violently rattles the door, you do your best to shut her out of your mind.
When I get out of here, I'm going to pick you apart piece by piece. I won't forget what you did, and I'll never forgive it. You don't know the kind of enemy you've made tonight.
It doesn't sound like she's getting any weaker. No, it doesn't.
Ignore her and go to sleep.
Just ignore her. Maybe the banging and wailing will stop if you just don't pay attention to it. You put the princess's threats out of your mind as best you can and huddle up against the wall. You jolt awake in the middle of the night to silence in the cabin. The ruckus has stopped, and the door to the basement is ajar. It's
Ajar
not
inside.
broken, and the table shoved out of the way. Where is she?
What?
Thanks for helping me
Oh.
get out of that awful basement.
That's creepy.
You try and stumble to your feet, but as the princess draws near, it's as though your body simply stops working. It isn't all at once. The paralysis comes in waves. First your toes going up, and then your feet, and then your legs. You lie prone on the floor of the cabin, unable to do anything but witness her approach. Whose side are you on? Yours, of course. But I have a duty to uphold the truth. Lying about the facts of the situation doesn't change them.
So helpless. I can take my time with you, can't I?
She steps closer,
It's creepy.
one silent footfall at a time, cocking her head in curiosity as you feel your organs shutting down one by one.
Or maybe I can't take my time with you. You don't look well. A little green around the gills. What a shame. If you'd only helped me get out of here, we could have done such wonderful things together.
Your lungs stop drawing in breath, and your heart freezes in your chest. You have seconds left.
I'd say better luck next time. But we both know this is the end, don't we?
It can't be. This can't actually be how everything ends. I'm sorry, but it is. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Interesting. And then we're in chapter 2. Okay. So, anybody else notice that the door opened in?
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Right. Okay, so we've heard that before. That was the intro that we were sadly muted for. I really hate to harp on this, but why did we barricade a door that opened the opposite direction? What point was there to barricading it if it opened in and not out? Or open, yeah, you know what I mean. Just bothers me. 6, 7. All right, we got 7, so we're gonna roll an 8. And that's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. She's going to kill me again. I mean, probably.
Again? People don't die twice. You haven't even met the princess, and I hardly think she'd be capable of killing someone as skilled and courageous as yourself. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
He?
Shh! What if he hears us?
He?
That's a very good question, little voice. What if he does hear you? Shit! I think you'll find yourselves very hard-pressed to keep any secrets from me. Not that it matters right now, because like I said, this is the first time we've met. Still, I'd rather not get off on the wrong foot. We've a world to save, after all.
So I guess all of the voices are different characters, and I'm not. I thought I was the hero. Am I not the hero? The voice is different than the hero, huh? Okay. So the voice of the hero is a different character from who we are. And the narrator is a different character than who we are. Interesting. 1, 2, 3. Very interesting. 4. So we got explore. Let's assume I'm telling the truth and all of this really did already happen. Why should I listen to you? Why should I bother doing anything?
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. Oh, we listened to you all right. Worst decision of our incredibly short life. We tried to slay her, we really did, but she was going to kill us. It was either lock her in the basement or let her finish beating us to death. Well then, congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right. And your solution is to send us back in there. Do you want us to slay the princess, or do you want the princess to slay us? Obviously, I want you to slay her. One of you poses a threat to the world, and the other doesn't. Anyways, I believe your other question was something along the lines of, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We were killed by the princess, and now everyone's right back where they started. Sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Speak for yourself. From my perspective, there were plenty of consequences. I'm never going to forget the way she just made us stop working.
That's interesting.
That's only scratching the surface. If what you said is true, it begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or have you found yourself in another world altogether? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would? If she brought an end to everything and everyone, how are we supposed to stop her? What do you want from us? I want you to succeed. You'll find a way. You're the only one who can.
4. Let's talk about this princess.
Just be quick about it.
I have very specific questions, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to ask them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just being around her in the end shuts down all of my organs. What the hell am I supposed to do about that?
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world.
You're not wrong, but I don't know. I don't like any of these people. I don't like the narrator, I don't like the princess, I don't like the voices. All of them seem completely illogical to me. Like, none of them make sense, and none of them seem to coincide with anything that anybody is saying. Although I guess I haven't really talked to the princess all that much. She just kind of murdered me, which is, I think, reason enough not to like her. 2. Who locked her in that basement? What is this place?
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
That's all.
Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Proceed to the cabin.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. I don't think lying and cheating is her thing. She was very direct with us last time. Or at least she was direct with us after we decided to lock her away. It doesn't matter. Don't trust anyone.
Proceed to the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is plain, the smooth wood of the walls almost featureless. The only furniture of note is a lone table, knocked on its side in the corner of the room. A pristine blade stands between you and the open, inviting basement doorway. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Hold on. What happened to the door? There was a door here last time. It's just an empty frame. She's already gotten out, hasn't she? And she's ready for us. She's been waiting. Can't you feel her eyes on us? I'm going to need all of you to pull yourselves together. The princess has not already gotten out. But if you keep getting stuck in your head like this, you're going to struggle to get the job done. So deep breath in, deep breath out. Your task awaits, and only you can do it.
2, 3, 4, 5. 7. 6, 7. Whole cabin is different than I remember it being.
Very different. I'm not the only one who sees her in the window, right? She knows that we're here. Calm down. Maybe the three of you just think everything is different because you haven't been here before. Enough of this past life nonsense. You haven't died. You certainly haven't been killed by the princess. So focus up. A lot's riding on this.
He did talk about us like there's 3 separate entities here. Right? The voice of the hero, the voice of the paranoid, and then me. Okay. 4. You didn't say anything about the mirror on the wall.
You're right. I was so stuck on the eyes watching us that I didn't even notice it there. What are you two talking about? There isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the floor, and the open doorway leading to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. We have to look at it. Unless that's what he wants us to do. And pretending it isn't there is a trick to get us to do exactly what he wants.
Remain silent.
If he's willing to lie about something as innocuous as a mirror, what else could he be hiding from us? Exactly. Everything he's saying is carefully crafted lies. I'm not lying to you, I promise. There isn't a mirror. Really.
But there is. Like, there's definitely a mirror, right? 1. Approach the mirror.
You walk up to the wall next to the empty basement door frame. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny.
Wipe the mirror clean.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. Did he make it go away? Clearly there was something in there worth investigating if he wants it hidden so bad.
take the blade.
You reach down and pick the blade up off the floor. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Good. Steel can't lie to us. Is it gonna be enough, though? Couldn't you have given us something else? Something, I don't know, better than a knife? Could we have a bomb? The blade is the only thing you need to finish your task. You're more than capable of pulling this off, so long as you don't lose faith in yourself. Those are the words of someone who knows he's sending us to our death.
Enter the basement.
You cross over the threshold and onto a series of isolated steps, suspended in darkness.
They're blinking.
More eyes, too. You never mention the eyes. The air seeping up from below reminds you of fresh lightning and static, as if you're descending into a place that isn't meant for a creature of flesh and blood. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor.
I said that last time.
Her cruel and playful voice prances up the stairs.
I didn't think you'd come back. We're gonna have a lot of fun, you and I.
Okay, we need a game plan. Last time we were here, just being close to her was enough to kill us.
3, 4, 5. 4. Step off into the void between the stairs. That seems like a logical decision.
You attempt to step off the stairs and into the pitch black surrounding them, but you're stopped by an invisible force. Why did you do that? What did you think would happen?
You don't know me. You don't know what forces control me. I was curious.
Congratulations, you really lucked out. Of all the things that could have happened from stepping into a void, nothing is quite possibly the best outcome you could have gotten. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. As you emerge, you find yourself between two loose rows of white wooden planks suspended in nothingness. A smattering of cobblestones visible against the inky black of the basement mark where the floor should be, forming vague pathways. At what seems to be the end of the room, they diverge in opposite directions, left and right. She could be anywhere, and there's nowhere for us to hide. We're completely exposed. Are you really not going to comment on how weird this place is? No, I'm not. Somebody needs to be the voice of reason here, and it certainly isn't you. Excuse me, I'm being incredibly reasonable. You're the one who's just matter-of-factly describing whatever the hell we're looking at like it's an ordinary basement. We're going to die down here.
We back? Okay. Three. Do nothing.
You decide it's best to do nothing.
There you are.
Oh, jeez.
I told you I was going to find you.
As the princess approaches, your legs suddenly go numb. Your arms quickly follow. This is it, isn't it?
And you brought your little knife with you again. Cute.
There has to be a way out of this. Think! Think! What did you do? Pull yourself together. She isn't supposed to be like this.
I wonder how many times I'll get to play with you before you break.
As your blood begins to coagulate, It's as if every part of your being is coming to a lurching halt.
The static sound was so loud.
Liver, nerves. Your lungs pull in a desperate gulp of air as your eyes shoot back open. What are you doing? I'm working! Do you want this body to function, or do you want... And then experience stops once more as your body reapproaches death. Okay, whatever you were doing, please just start doing it again. Are you sure about that? Are you sure that's what you want, or do you want to interrupt me some more? You have seconds left. Yes, I'm sure. Heart, lungs, liver. Again, your eyes shoot open as you gasp for breath.
You can't decide what you want to do, can you? Oh well, standing there gasping like a fish is more fun than dead, even if you look ridiculous.
She isn't attacking us. Why? The why doesn't matter. She's already proven her ill intent. Don't lose sight of your mission. Your weapon is still in your hands. Strike at her and end this before it's too late.
The whole having it on auto and like the thing's just like popping. It's like multiple jump scares in a row. Jesus Christ. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, 13. Jeez, so many options. I could do a D12, but that wouldn't be enough. Do a D20 and then just re-roll, I guess, on anything higher than 13? I think that's how we have to do it. Okay, 3. We'll take that. We'll take 3. What happened after you killed me last time?
I tried to leave while you suffocated, but that stupid cabin wouldn't let me. So I started to drag your body out with me and
The
then...
cabin? The cabin wouldn't
Well,
let you?
you died before I could get to the door. And then I was here, and now you're here too. I don't think I can live without you, and dead doesn't count. And as much as I love what we have going on, I have bigger plans than tormenting one poor little creature forever. I want to leave.
Interesting. 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Even more options. That's a 17. That's 7. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How about I just kill you instead?
The princess cocks her head, neck cracking uncomfortably. She can't help but imagine a smile carve its way from ear to ear on the other side of her mask.
Thinking about that knife, are we? Put that little theory to the test. See how it plays out. But I don't think you're going to like what happens. Because even if you make me dead, you're not getting out of here. This place is mine. And I'm not giving you the stairs unless I'm leaving with you.
Stab, 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 stab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Nope, wrong one. Nope, wrong one. That one. 3. 1, 2, 3. I was sent here to stop you from destroying the world. I can't just let you leave.
I know. You told me last time. Destroy is such an unenlightened way of putting it. So sudden, so violent, so little nuance. I'm not going to destroy the world, but I am going to hold it in my hands and squeeze it. I'm going to make it afraid, just like I've made you afraid. The world needs fear, doesn't it? Every terror I bring would make the good times so much better. Well, I'm practically doing a public good. So what harm is there really in letting me out?
That animation was really slick, by the way, for like having just static images, even if they're just flashing like that, for the entire time, and then all of a sudden she does a twirl. That was pretty slick. That was good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 again. Woo. That was quite the roll. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm not doing any of this. I'm not helping you leave. I'm not going to try and kill you. Do your worst. Toss the blade and remain with your nightmare. All right. That's screw you. Screw everyone. That's the screw everyone answer. I don't want to listen to any of you.
You're serious? You fling the blade into the void, denying yourself the opportunity to ever slay her and finish your mission. Nobody's happy here, but maybe it's for the best.
Nobody wins.
You poor
Oh,
deluded
jeez.
thing. Do you think a single moment of bravery changes you into something you're not? I am what I am, and you're always going to be a coward.
She raises a hand to her mask and pulls it down.
Oh, jeez.
You don't get the chance to see what lies beneath before it envelops you.
Ah!
Like a creeping mold, the complete reality of your existence threads its way through your mind. Birth, death, birth again, decay and bloom, a million stitches from a million microscopic wounds you've inflicted on everyone you've ever met, with every muscle you've moved and every word you've ever spoken. No.
Let me out.
Your existence hurts them.
Let me out.
A lonely soul in a room by itself, weeping. It lives for 80 years and then it's gone. And then it's there again.
Let me out.
A reprieve. A good life. Love. Children. A steady career. Recognition from your peers. Here one moment, gone the next. The worms have found their orifices.
Let me out.
Diagnosis. It forgets everything it is. Anger, rage, distance, poverty. The lonely soul is lonely again. Love turns to mockery. It dies. It is reborn. Worse. Lonelier.
Let me out.
No. What's happening to us?
Let me out.
This is all too much. I can't keep going. You can't keep going? Well, what are you talking about?
But he doesn't respond.
Oops, I think I broke you.
I think you broke the narrator.
I'll see you soon. You'll know what to do.
Your body is dead, but you live on. All the chapters. Okay. Cool. The moment of clarity.
You're on a path in the... Shit! What the hell was that? Who are we? What are we doing?
There was a princess, I think. It's all so fuzzy. It hurts when I try to remember. I think we were trying to save the world.
You shouldn't know about the princess. At least, not until I... You've already been here, haven't you?
I guess. It feels so long ago, almost like we've never left. We have to let her out.
No, that's the opposite of what you're here to do. You have to slay her. Slay? We decided not to do that, didn't we? Yeah, we're supposed to let her out. It's really the only way this works out for us. If you think about it, she's the one with power here. Nobody else can do much of anything. No, we were supposed to keep her trapped there forever, I think. We're supposed to be unfeeling. How many times do I have to tell you to snuff out your heart? We can't be unfeeling. Not when there's so much fear everywhere.
So many new
There's
voices.
nothing for us to do. We've already tried everything.
So many new voices.
We love her, so we have to set her free. Can we love something that hates us? Can we love something that hurts us? To be given an ounce of kindness from something so cruel would be more pure than any other love. Why are there so many of us? There aren't supposed to be so many of us.
Yeah, why are there so many of us? That's a
This is
great
bad.
question.
You need to get a grip. What did you let happen? How many times have you been here?
Minimal control of the camera. I've only been here 2 other times. I don't know about all these other voices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's a 7. The only way out is to do nothing. So nothing I will do. Stay where you are.
You do nothing. You can't just do nothing. You have to do something. That's a new one. Huh. Do you think it'll work?
It's all new!
Nothing ever works. Boo! You're the worst one. He's not the one who got us into this mess. At least I keep you breathing around her. See? That's why the sad one's the worst. The jumpy one tries. Who cares?
Who's the
All of
jumpy
you
one?
just yap about nothing. And that kind of attitude is why you're in the top half. Great. And that's why you're not the top.
What's the
I
top
want to see
half?
what nothing does for us. And right now all of you aren't letting nothing happen. Hopefully this stuff's all the rest of them someplace quiet. You need me. And you need to not have them. He'll get you killed by himself. Oh, all of us have gotten all the rest of us killed at one point or another. That's hardly even a concern now. As the little voices bicker amongst themselves, you do your best to stay still in the woods. It is difficult, and the more time you spend waiting, the harder it will be to sharpen your focus when you need it. I wonder what we look like right now. Are we standing? Sitting? I like to think we have an air of dignity. My point exactly.
I am so confused. Continue to do nothing.
Congratulations. You continue to waste everyone's time and do nothing. Wait, can you still hear me? It's getting...
Oh no.
Ha! It's our turn to flip the table.
Oh dear.
This is the end, isn't it?
Everything is wrong. What is that twisting feeling? We're so small. I don't think we're supposed to be here. Just another bout of nonsense. Again. I can't think anymore. Finally, I've just needed to leave for so long. I thought I would last without them. I thought I was special. Well, it looks like this was a good idea. Something new is happening. Well done. Brilliant.
It's all new!
Right? Guys?
The world around you is unwound, its physical matter replaced by a textured nothingness. It is quiet. Still on auto, so... There's a distant rumbling, a sound of many sounds. Undulations pulse louder as something other comes close. Hands. Why is it hands? Feelers probe across the fabric of reality. Extremities find your consciousness and wrap themselves around it. You are no longer alone. Elden Ring had hands. Resistance fingers drag claws across the glass surface of your soul. At least these hands have the normal amount of hand fingers. Frustration, this vessel is full of you. I need something empty I can crawl inside of. I need something shaped like me. Huh. What are you shaped like if you need something shaped like you to crawl inside of? What? I'm so confused. I have no idea what's happening. This is a nightmare. Wake up! It's not. Ah! What? Chapter 1, The Hero and the Princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
When you say that... Okay, so I just got an achievement saying the real Slay the Princess starts here? What do you mean it starts here? What was all the rest of that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that the same number of choices we had the very first time we started this? The end of the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, no, I think that's right, because I think I had to roll a d12 and it was just re-rolling on 12. Okay, so it literally started over again? 10. Sweet, I've always wanted to off a monarch. Viva la revolution!
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Proceeded to the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Enter the basement. So this time we're doing it without the blade.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
She definitely sounds a lot friendlier this time around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Hi!
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Please, come downstairs.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
Hold on. Let's talk a bit first.
Okay.
Two, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are you going to do if I let you out of here?
The princess hesitates before responding. She doesn't know. She's been down here too long to have any idea of what she'd do in another life.
Where's all my other voices?
She knows what she'd do. She's just searching for whatever answer she thinks you want to hear.
Are you looking for the truth, or are you looking for the right answer? Because with the dynamic we have going on here, I don't think the specifics of what I do really matter. It's not like you'd believe me.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. What's your name?
Oh,
She pauses, carefully formulating her words before she responds.
you can address me as Your Royal Highness. Or you can just call me Princess if Your Royal Highness is too formal.
Is Princess her name or her title? What if it's both? Could you imagine being named Princess Princess?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a 5, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, but I just can't trust you. This doesn't add up, and it isn't worth the risk to take your word over the potential fate of the world. Retrieve the blade.
Thank you. You turn back to the stairs, intent on retrieving the blade in the cabin.
So, what? You're going to try and kill me? You'll regret this. I promise you. But go ahead. Run along and get whatever you're planning to get. But you'd better hope that I don't slip these chains before you make it back down here.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But do you hear the conviction in her voice? I don't think she's bluffing. She has to be bluffing, but hurry. You rush up to the first floor, grabbing the
now it
blade
opens
as
out.
yours and the world's only possible salvation. Okay, if we're sure about this decision, I'll support it. I suppose we have a world to save after all.
That's not how
You
doors
slowly
work.
creep down the basement stairs. It's quiet. Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm, its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. And she is nowhere to be seen. Is it just me? Or did this room get a lot bigger?
You know, she was able to just break free from the chains before. I don't understand why she felt the need to take her arm off this time. Maybe she has one of those extra hands lying around and she just... Ugh. I think we got off on the wrong foot. Do you think we can start over?
Oh, you coward!
No, I don't think we can. Why don't you come closer? I have something to show you.
Let's finish this.
Your eyes dart to the corners of the room. You don't see her. Where is she?
Investigate the arm.
As you step towards the severed limb, you hear the pattering of feet behind you, soft against the basement floor, then loud and desperate against the stairs.
She's trying to escape, but
You
she
turn
can't.
to chase after the princess, but she's fast and has too much of a lead.
Does she not know she can't
She
escape
slams
because
the
we
door
started
behind
over?
her before you can make it to the top of the stairs. The lock clicks into place. No!
Thanks for letting me out. I'd return the favor, but I think we both know that I can't trust you to let me stay free. You should understand. It just isn't worth the risk.
With those parting words, the princess walks away, her quiet footsteps eventually fading as she leaves you and the cabin to rot.
So she can
You're
leave.
stuck here, alone. Can't just end like this, right? As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. I'm sorry, but it's over. You don't know how much time passes before the end, but eventually it comes. The world ends, and you end with it.
So was she able to actually leave though? Because in the last iteration,
You're
we
on a
find out
path
she can't.
in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to figure out if like the different iterations of the game are actually like new games, because this, I didn't like select to start a new game. It just started automatically, and I got like the achievement saying like, okay, this is where it really begins now. Like, so, but it did start me back at chapter 1. So if this is a new iteration, are there new rules to it? If there's new rules to it, that could explain why she was able to leave. But if the rules are the same every time, then she shouldn't have been able to leave, or something must have stopped her. This is... Now I'm curious if it's different because it's like a new game or not. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. Wait, hasn't this already happened? And mind you, redoing the first chapter, going back to chapter 1 again, there was no like recollection of anything that had happened in the prior iteration, which was really confusing because of all the voices that we had at the end, which I don't know where any of them came from.
It hasn't. Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Brilliant. We need to keep our cards close to our chest, and I'm not sure we can trust him. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. Did I say I'm not sure we can trust him? Slip of the tongue, bit of the old brain fog. I meant to say that we should probably head over to the cabin and slay that princess. We already know we can't trust her, so let's get on with the show.
So what I'm trying to figure out is, because I know the other thing I'm trying to figure out is that I get that we're kind of doing like a whole split personality thing, and that's what the different voices are. The narrator, I'm assuming, is one of the other voices, but they refer to us, like me as the player, as the narrator refers to us as a separate entity from the other voices, and that makes me wonder, how are we viewing ourselves, like our physical body, as a separate instant from the voices? And then I'm still curious what that one voice, I don't even remember which voice it was, but one of the voices was talking about how there was an upper half, a top half, and I'm assuming a not top half, and that there was a top, and that the voice of the stubborn, I guess, wasn't the top. There's so many questions. Two. Proceed to the cabin.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Don't worry. You can trust us to get the job done.
Proceed to the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is a mess of twisted roots. The walls a chaotic weave of knotted wood that, almost as if by accident, just happened to resemble a room. The floor is damp and earthy, and the only furniture of note is a slab of mud in the shape of a shelf, with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
It's interesting because, like, so this Chapter 2 room is much different than our last Chapter 2 room. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface here. No, you know what? What's weird is that it feels like my last iteration was, like, almost as close to a true ending as I possibly could have gotten for a multiple variated endings scenario. And then now I'm, like, looping through, like, what I should have been looping through in the first place. That's what it feels like. Because I had no idea what all of those other voices were supposed to be.
You take the blade from the shelf. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Well, if we're grabbing a weapon, we should probably keep it hidden behind our backs. She doesn't have to know we have it. That's not actually a bad idea.
Or, you didn't say anything about the mirror on the wall.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's the muddy shelf, the blade sitting on the muddy shelf, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. But he says there isn't one. That's got to count for something, right?
That's a 3, 2, 3. It doesn't matter.
But it does matter. Don't you care if we're being lied to? If he's willing to lie about something as innocuous as a mirror, what else is he hiding from us? Come on now. He's pretty much in charge here. When have authority figures ever lied about anything? If there were a mirror in this cabin, and we were supposed to look at it, he would have told us about it. I'm not lying to you. Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? Let you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done. But there was a mirror a second ago. Well, at least we can all agree now that there's nothing to see here. Case closed. Good work, everyone.
Enter the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase dug into the muddy earth below. The ceiling is thick with roots that hang like locks of tangled hair. The weak starlight from the cabin windows behind you can barely penetrate the gloom here, only illuminating the edges of an opening below. It shines in the darkness like some kind of massive maw waiting to swallow you up into the earth. The air smells of dirt and copper. It's thick and wet, as if your lungs are being coated in mud with each intake of breath. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice skitters up from below.
Something nasty finds itself on my stairs. Come on down. Don't be scared. I probably won't bite.
I'm not nasty.
But you are. You're a wretched little thing. I recognize that voice as easily as I recognized your nervous little footsteps coming up the path. I know who you are, and I remember what you've done.
She must have you confused with someone else. She seems friendly enough. Maybe we can talk our way out of this whole situation. You can't. Unless you slay her right away, she's going to break free and end the world. There's no reasoning with what she is. Look, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I like to think out loud. I'm the kind of guy who likes a discussion. Don't we want to hear what everyone has to say before making any big decisions? Do you want to hear what everyone has to say? Or do you just want to hear yourself talk? You need to stop lingering Your task is to slay the princess, not endlessly debate about what to do with the princess. Fine, fine. You're the boss. Thank you. You descend the basement steps. Entering the dark room below, you can just make out the shape of the princess in the gloom. She's huddled against the far wall, her eyes bright and glaring from amid the thick roots.
And there you are, one hand tucked away behind your back, gripping that sharp, sharp blade, no doubt.
That's no fair. How would she know that?
So, we've dropped the pretenses. Good.
We made a comment back in the woods about having been here before. Now she's acting like the two of you already know each other. Oh, no. You've already been here, haven't you? That's pretty sharp. How'd you figure that one out? Call it deductive reasoning. Well, you seem to be great at it. So, you really don't remember us, do you? No, I don't. But you and the princess clearly have a shared reality, even if I'm not a part of it. I won't waste time fighting you on something that's clearly true. I'm just glad we could put all this behind us. Is it all behind us? Just focus on the task at hand. I don't care if you've been here before, and I don't care if you think you'll go somewhere else after this. My world is on the line right now, so I'd appreciate it if you would take this seriously and slay her.
That's a fair point.
Let's chat her up a bit first. Maybe we can find a middle ground where everyone's happy. Don't talk to her. You're just going to make things more difficult than they have to be.
Well, I seem to remember you having a tongue.
I really love the idea that, like, she's talking to us as if we weren't talking out loud, right? That all these are just, like, thoughts in our head. But I also really love the idea that it is really, like, just a split personality, but we're just saying all of these things out loud. And she's just, like, listening to us, like, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I get the sense you're not happy with me.
Is that a joke? Do you think a joke will charm my trust back? You'll have to try harder than that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One, two, three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why do I have a nagging feeling you're going to stab me in the back if I help you out of here?
And why would I do such a thing? Is someone's guilty conscience getting to them?
Now, if she left
I wouldn't
last
worry.
time,
As much as I may hate you, letting you live is in my best interests. If you get me out of here, the only thing that will be dead and buried is the bad blood between us.
Oh, that nagging feeling you mentioned is me, by the way. I'm actually a little anxious about a potential backstabbing event. She needs us to get out of here. We'll be fine if that's what we decide to do.
got it. Okay.
You won't be fine because destruction is in her nature. If she gets out of here, that's it for the world, remember? Even if that's true, that doesn't automatically mean she's going to stab us in the back. I think that depends on your definition of words like stab and in the back. She might not literally do that, but she could very well symbolically do the same thing. See? He gets it. There's nothing wrong with looking out for number one.
So it is consistent that she can't get out of here without me. Okay. So even though she left and allegedly left the cabin In the last chapter, she didn't. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Look, I know, things got messy last time, but I think there's something bigger than both of us at work. We should team up.
I suppose you didn't come into my hovel of your own accord, did you? All right. I suppose I could team up. I need a way out after all, and unfortunately you're the only one I have.
Seems to me like she's offering a mutually beneficial arrangement. We should take it. Do you know what the word mutually means? Because it sounds to me like she's offering an arrangement that benefits her and her alone.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't trust you, not enough to free you, and definitely not enough to get close to you. I'm leaving. Bye. Leave her in the basement.
Very pragmatic. That is why you're in charge.
Abandoning me, are you? Fine then. Run. Tuck your tail between your legs and scamper away. You might be able to escape me, but you can't escape from what you are and what you've done. If I don't take you, the wilds will.
You turn to leave, but as you do, there's a deep, guttural groan seemingly uttered by the walls themselves, followed by the creak of wood being stretched beyond its limits. The cabin starts to get smaller. What the hell is going on? We're getting out of here and saving our skins. That's what's going on. As the roots that make up the walls of the cramped basement attempt to close in around you, instinct kicks in, and you bolt upstairs. The steps are uneven and lively, creaking as they expand out of the dirt floor, the stairway growing smaller and smaller as you dart up towards the light. You manage to squeeze through the door just as the entrance seals itself shut behind you. The cabin is smaller than it was before, and it's getting even smaller and smaller. That's fine, we'll just leave. I'm sure you'd like to do that, but unfortunately there is no longer a front door. The roots have already closed over the only possible exit. What little light peeks through the holes that were once windows is growing weaker as the cabin continues to close in on itself. Shit. What do we do? As your mind races for an answer, you hear the princess's voice crackle up the stairs.
Do you hear that, you loathsome thing? Those are the roots of the wild, and they're coming to choke the breath from your lungs and squeeze the life out of you.
It was some interesting timing. I can hear music coming from the other room, and it happened to come from the other room the second she said, "Do you hear that?" I'm like, "I do," and it's really odd that that's the choice of music he decided to play for me. 2, 3, 4, 5. What about you? They'll crush you just as easily as they'll crush me.
As long as you suffer while you die, I'll gladly suffer with you. Especially if I get to hear it happen.
Oh.
This doesn't help anyone. I can't believe she'd kill us both just to spite me. See? This is exactly why you were tasked to slay her, and why you shouldn't have left her in the basement. She's an antisocial monster who'll gladly burn the whole world for her satisfaction. The roots grow ever closer. No, we can see them.
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. Why though? Why are you doing this?
Because it's in my nature. Just like you coming here to hurt me is in yours. It's who I am.
That is extremely not us. We're just doing what we're told, and making the best out of a difficult situation. We didn't even try to kill her. We just left her here. It's the same thing. It isn't. You feel something against your back. A thick group pushing its way into the cabin. An unstoppable, unyielding wall of bark. You're running out of time. Shit. What do we do? What do we do?
1, 2, 3, 4. I take it all back. I can help you get out of here. You and I can work together. We can be friends.
Too late. We're both going to die. We're both going to die a splintery and miserable death. And you're going to hate it just as much as you hate me and I hate you.
You slump to the floor as the roots continue to expand into the cabin. Ugh, we're never going to make something of ourselves with that attitude. At least she isn't going to make something of herself either. At first it's almost gentle, your body being lifted delicately off the ground as the floor shifts beneath you. But the cradle of the growing roots starts to feel suffocating, then unbearably tight. Then that tightness gives way to bulging pressure as they begin to constrict. The sound of creaking wood is drowned out by the snaps and pops of your bones, pain flooding your senses as you feel your skin deform, being shaped unnaturally by the living cabin.
This suffering is what you deserve, you hideous creature. Know as you die that you are hated. I hate you, and I'm glad to die horribly if it means you die with me. I wouldn't have it any other way.
The pressure is unfathomable. You can't breathe, your vision swimming with red, your head pounding with trapped blood. And then you pop.
Ugh.
Everything goes dark.
That was
And you
gory. Oh, chapter 3. Hey, we got to a chapter 3 this time. Instead of chapter everything.
We are a path in the woods.
Oh.
We have no beginning, and we have no end. But something cold and unnatural sits watching us from just beyond our edge. His gaze pushes against our borders, curling them in on themselves, preventing them from stretching to the places they need to reach.
No, that's all wrong. You're not a path in the woods, you're on a path in the woods. Who's even saying that? That's not the princess, is it? Oh no. How many times have you been here? I think this is our third? That's bad. That's very, very
technically
bad.
our
It wasn't even
fifth.
supposed to reach 2. If
Or
you're at
sixth.
3, well, no wonder things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Let's get our facts straight. What happened last time? What could you have possibly done for things to be like this?
So the narrator does know about...
The thing that sits beyond our edge speaks his logic into us. He tries to grasp at things that cannot be grasped. He tries to stare with wide pupils at that which can only be held from the corner of the eye or with a passing glance.
Shut up. The rest of you, talk. What happened? What did you do?
Why does he want to know? I don't
Oh,
mind where
paranoid's
we are
back.
right now. It's rather nice. I can hear what everyone is thinking.
There's no reason to keep secrets. We tried leaving her in the basement, but she made the cabin come to life, and it crushed both of us into a fine paste. And now we're here, existing. And for what it's worth, I'm with him. This is nice.
It was a fitting end. I'm sorry if it hurt, but doesn't this make it all seem so small?
I see. So the cabin ground you into paste, and now you're convinced you're stuck together. What a mess.
He doesn't understand. We aren't convinced of anything, and we aren't stuck together. We're one. This is how we're supposed to be. Can't you feel it?
Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Whatever we are right now is an abomination, and I want out.
How could you say that? Look at us. We're almost everything. And we can be even more than this. Don't you feel our potential?
Great. You can start by remembering that you exist, and not just as some dissolved component of a Gestalt entity formed from you and the princess. You exist as your own self, complete with your own physical body, separate from hers.
I'm not so sure about that. We were something like that once, but now...
And if thinking about that isn't enough to startle you back to reality, consider this. She committed a murder-suicide using a living cabin.
Valid.
Right. That was unpleasant. We weren't big fans of that, I think.
I'm sure I would have had us do the
We weren't
same
big
thing
fans
if
of
we
that.
were in her shoes. We really do make a great pair. He's probably just jealous. You need to remember that you and the princess are enemies. Don't let bygones be bygones. Remember what she's done to you and how much it hurt.
We can't go back to that! We can't go back to the doubting and the hatred and the schemes. Not after being something as beautiful as this!
Interesting.
Doesn't all that conflict feel so far away right now? So petty? We've been posed against each other by something that understands the strength of our unity.
Spoken like, honestly, a real puppet master. Have we considered that maybe she's the one trying to trick us?
I'm not.
But there's a feeling, isn't there? That petty feeling she mentioned, it is fuzzy, but it's there. Almost like she still hates us.
It feels mutual.
Please, stop. If you pay attention to that feeling, we'll fall apart. Don't look at it!
She's trying to turn you away from the truth. There's something she doesn't want you to see. I think you already know you have to look at it.
Everyone's pulling in different directions, but that feeling doesn't have a motive, it just exists. Maybe we should look at it.
Bury it now, before it's too late.
No, you can't bury that feeling. You can't hide from your past.
It's true.
The past doesn't have to exist. Our freedom is within us. We just have to find it.
But the past does exist. I remember it.
And just like that, you start to fall apart. She really does hate us, and we hate her. It hurts thinking about us as separate things, but we're separate. We can't hate ourselves. I love me.
What were we thinking? Getting into absolute madness. We exist. We're real. We're separate from her. Of course we are. What are we? I can't remember. I don't want to remember what it felt like to be killed. It was so much nicer when it didn't feel like it mattered.
And yet you keep remembering. You remember the loathing and animosity you've shared with the princess, the pain and the anger and the betrayal. You start to remember something else, too. You remember that you are a distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body. You can feel it. There is a shifting of the space around you, the infinitesimal movement of your molecules rearranging back into the shape of what you're meant.
Maybe bygones can't be bygones. I don't know why I ever wanted to share a body with you, of all things. It's like my very soul reeks of yours. That was horrible. This is better, finally. I'll be able to hurt you like you deserve. I wish I didn't have to.
Interesting.
Some divisions, when so, can never truly be mended. A cavernous gash rips across whatever it was you thought you were. A cabin comes into being among the trees. It approaches, and it swallows your body whole.
So the cabin came after us this
And
time.
then you find yourself blade in hand.
Oh, wow.
Exactly where you need to be. At the center of it all is the princess, a wooden and fleshy heart beating with an unbroken rhythm. You're filled with a sense of purpose. Strike at her. End this once and for all.
Kill me then, if you hate me so much. Just get it over with.
I don't like this. What he wants us to do, it's just cruel. It feels like we'd be killing a part of ourselves. Well, this should be easy. If you're sure about it. I mean, what's the point of being king of the hill if there's no one around to be better than? We'd just be sitting on a hill.
Do we have to do this?
You have to. You know you have to.
Slay the princess.
You raise the blade, taking aim at her heart. And then you strike.
I'm sorry.
Ah, the hands are back. Dang it. But you never see her die. Something has taken her away, and it's left something else in her place. Is it the mirror?
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and
Also,
find
there's
her?
no narrator narrating.
And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
So at some point, the narrator leaves. And it seems like it's whenever things, like, kind of end. Like, officially end. Or at least so far that seems to be the case. Well, I don't know where she went, and I don't know how we'd even go about looking for her. Yeah, the narrator is gone as an option. I think I'm supposed to look at the mirror and approach the mirror. Interesting.
Does this mean we won? You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing. I should feel better with her gone. But I don't.
I think I'm supposed to look at the mirror.
There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should. It's calling us. And not in a good way. They think it's bad. I'm with them.
Approach the mirror.
I'm begging you, don't do this.
Ignore him. You approach the mirror. Gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone, but the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what's in it. It's you. You are alone in a place that is empty. It is quiet here. Is this another chapter? Proceed to the cabin. I thought we were already in the cabin. You are at the cabin. Approach her. You recognize the presence inhabiting the shell. It is the entity that dwells in the spaces between.
Something returns to the long quiet. It has surrendered its path of annihilation and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Attack the entity. Your will cuts across the entity in front of you, but nothing happens.
My roots burrow in an ocean beyond your sight. We cannot harm each other as we are now.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you what sent me to slay the princess? Are you what trapped me here?
I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let her out of here. Or let her out of there.
I'm sorry. There are some changes that can never be undone. There are some tears that can never be unshed. This is not a place that can hold a fragment of a concept. The moment she arrived here, she was going to return to me. I promise that it doesn't hurt.
So the hands, whatever the hands are, how's the game going? As you cover your gameplay screen because you're scaredy cat. So the game has a certain dark tone to it that I'm really enjoying, and it's definitely mind-bending in a certain way. I will admit, doing the roll for choices through the first iteration of this into kind of like a weird spin, and I kind of feel like I feel like the dice rolled in a way that is not common for a person to find in their first playthrough. And I think that threw me a bit just because I'm like, I was experiencing things that I had no clue what was going on, so it was very confusing. I'm starting to piece it together a little bit more, though. That being said, it has this great dark flavor to it that I'm really enjoying. And there's like a lot of dark humor behind it, and it's very wild. So far, what I'm noticing about this particular entity, it seems like there is an entity that is controlling the kind of end space, or I guess they called it the space between. And I think that's what these hands are. I'm guessing these hands are part of different iterations. That's kind of just like projecting some thoughts out here that I'm having, is that the hands might be different iterations of the princess, or possibly me, and that it's like slowly gathering more and more. And it seems like in this particular iteration, what's happened with the princess is that whatever this entity is has now taken control of the princess's body and is speaking to me through her. Seems to be what's happening, and I'm guessing that's what's happening, which I think means we successfully slayed the princess in this iteration then, whereas the last one, it was kind of... I have no idea what happened in the last one. The last one was so confusing because I'm pretty sure it was like not what the game was expecting us to do, because we're rolling for everything. 5, which kind of throws the narrative pacing off a bit. But that's on me, not the game. 3. 1, 2, 3. The gift of a fragile vessel. Iteration, so this is your second playthrough. Yeah, so it's kind of basically the way it's telling the story is like there is a chapter 1, a chapter 2, and then in this particular iteration there was a chapter 3. My last iteration there was like a chapter, like it just kind of gave me everything. Like it was a chapter everything, and it's kind of like you're replaying the same events over and over again. So what happened was in chapter 1, right, you go into this cabin, and you're told, like, okay, you have to go slay the princess who's down in the basement. So you go down into the basement, you do whatever it is that you do with the princess, right? In my case, I talked to her, and things proceeded in a way where the princess escaped and I died. Then chapter 2 started, which was the same beginning, right? You start in the woods, the narrator tells you things, but now you are more aware of what's going on, right? Because this is the second time that you've been here, and like the voices in your head are telling you like, no, we've been here before. We know what's happening. We need to figure this out. And then, because of the way it rolled, I got this weird ending where it was like everything kind of happened, and then it started over again at chapter 1. And so because that was my second iteration, I wasn't sure exactly if it was like one continuous story or if it was restarting, but it seems like it was restarting, and it's like kind of like an overarching plot where you as the player understand that this is all one continuous story, but within the game itself, each time you restart back at chapter 1, that's a new like iteration of the world happening. If that makes sense. 2, 3, 4, 5, which it might not, because I think it's intentionally meant to be very confusing, because that's kind of how they're trying to do the nuance of the storytelling, which is cool for certain people. I don't know if everyone would love that kind of storytelling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then they did a great job. Yeah, exactly, because you're confused. Yep. I think that was the intent, in which case I would agree. I think they did in fact do a great job, because this is very intriguing, and I think you kind of have to play it to really understand what's going on, or like really be watching and paying attention to everything that's going on. So it's definitely not something I could easily just put into words to describe what's going on. Is this the end of the world?
How can the world have ended if we are talking?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just scratching the surface too. Like, I've barely figured out anything that's actually happening. I'm still at the point where I'm figuring out how the hell this game even works, let alone trying to piece together little bits of the actual story happening around me. You're that thing I met in the space outside of the woods. I thought that was a dream.
Vague recollections, empty tunnels without a mouth. I am sorry if I frightened you.
And I think you're meant to piece together the overarching plot by re-going through the iterations over and over again, but getting different endings. And each time you get new endings and take new paths, you get more of the story kind of revealed to you as what's happening, and you're supposed to kind of piece it together yourself. I think that's what they're going for. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven. Destroy your body. You raise your will to end your life, but as it buries into the space your body should be, you feel nothing at all. One of the many hands in front of you reached forward and gently touches the side of your face.
There's nowhere for you to be but here.
Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What happens now?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, make me forget. So that's an interesting comment. I think that kind of confirms exactly what I was just saying. Bring me more perspective so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom. So basically, it's keep playing it over and over again to get different endings and different loops that like have different trajectories, and those are the different perspectives. And once you, I guess, see as many as you can, you get the true ending, as what I'm assuming is supposed to be happening here.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Yeah, and then it starts back over at chapter 1. Okay. So
You're on a path in the woods. And at the end of that path,
I'm going to turn
is
the
a
auto
cabin.
off.
And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her.
No, turn the auto off.
If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay, there we go. I think I got it this time. Okay, so real quick, let's go over what we've learned so far, and then I'm going to take a quick break. So that was a great ending. She asked that you remember her. You won't. End. Okay, so yes, it seems like each iteration. So every time we go back to chapter 1, it's a new iteration, and there is an overarching presence that exists in this space outside of the cabin, outside of the forest, outside of the narrator, outside of the princess, and outside of us. And this entity that exists outside in this space is aware of everything that is happening between iterations. We also, as the player, understand everything that is happening between iterations. Does that make this a roguelike? I want to say no, but I'll be completely honest, I can see why you would ask that, and I don't have a great answer for you, other than mechanically this is a visual novel, and I don't know if that means it doesn't count. But I'm not going to be the one to try and define that, because that's actually a very good question, and I don't have a good answer. But yeah, so yeah, we as the player have an idea of what's going on. This entity that exists outside of space within the game has an idea of what's going on in between iterations, but between iterations, everyone forgets everything, and that's the princess, that's all of these voices, and that includes the narrator, apparently. Or as far as we know, that includes the narrator. Now, things we know about the narrator. He has told us he can't lie, which was a lie. He has lied to us. He understands and completely understands being, like, in the chapters, each chapter being a number of times that you have been in this place before within each iteration. So, we know the narrator's a liar. We know the princess is definitely trying to manipulate you. We know that this entity outside of existence wants to be whole and is somehow a part of this and needs to know more by having us go through this loop over and over and over again. How we play into that seems to be that we're the thing that can keep coming back and go through this iteration. How the princess plays into that seems to be that she is possibly the entity, but like an avatar of the entity or something. I don't know. That we need to find more information about. But the princess is just crazy, ridiculous, powerful in so many different ways and can apparently take different shapes and forms, and that seems to be the catalyst that keeps us from being able to do anything. But we seem to be able to keep coming back over and over and over again. We have found one ending in which we did nothing, essentially. We got to a point where we were just like, no, we're not doing this anymore. We did absolutely nothing, and that just kind of swallowed us, and nothing happened, and it just ended. And that, I don't think we were supposed to do that. I don't think the game was expecting us to do that. I think the game expects us to do that at some point to test it out, but I think in this case, that is kind of what threw off the narrative pacing a bit, because traditionally, person playing this for the first time would probably not do nothing. They would do something. That being said, the second iteration, we managed to slay the princess, right? In the end, right? So after like 6 chapters, the princess killing us, 4 of those chapters, 1 we did nothing and got swallowed whole, and then in the 6th chapter we successfully slayed the princess. So that's very interesting. That all being said, I'm going to take a break. I'm definitely excited to get back into this, though. So bear with me. We will be jumping right back in just a few minutes. Stand up, take a break, grab some water, go to the bathroom, do whatever you're going to need to do. We are going to be back in just a couple minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to try and get you some music. It might take a second. welcome back. All right, let us continue. All right. Let's turn auto back on. The end of the world. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, okay. So yeah, completely starts it over. No recollection of anything that has happened previously. Cool. Very good. 11. Turn around and leave. Amazing. I already love how this particular iteration is going.
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going?
2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to say that's 3, but it's kind of cocked, so let's do it again, just to be sure. 2. Alright. Okay, fine. I'll go to the cabin and I'll talk to the princess. Maybe I'll slay her, maybe I won't. I guess we'll see.
I guess we will. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right, so we've heard these bits before. Proceed into the cabin. And as far as I know, it should just be normal, right? Because we're not really doing a different iteration.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust.
Right.
The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
We're going in without the blade again. Okay. So
The door to the
far.
basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So far, all the same. I'm here to save you, but this time we're lying. Okay. I think last time we just said hi.
Wait, really? You're here to rescue me? I was starting to think I'd be stuck down here forever.
I see. You're trying to get her to lower her guard. It's a gamble, but it might work.
Come downstairs. I want to see the face of my rescuer.
We also know she can read our thoughts. Or, if it's not
Walk
thoughts,
down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess.
literally
There's a
just
heavy
us
chain
talking
around
out
her
loud.
wrist,
And she can
binding
hear
her
us.
to the far wall
It's one of
of
the two.
basement.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone?
I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. I can't believe you're here. I've been waiting for something like this to happen forever. I hope you brought something to deal with these chains.
You were lying when you said you were here to rescue her, but regardless of your intentions, breaking her out of those chains would be a big mistake. Don't even try it.
We do still have the question of who the narrator is. And if they're a part of us, or if they're a part of this other entity. Which I really wish we would have rolled to ask the other entity if they knew who the narrator was, because that was an option, but we sadly skipped over it. 2. Huh. I'll see what I can do, examine the chains.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
So this is different. This is different in the sense that last time we approached it, like, we were chatting with her first, and we were, instead of going immediately into, like, yeah, let's try and rescue her, we went into, like, oh, no, let's find out more information first, and that, I think, set her down a different path of, like, mistrust. And I think trust is a very important thing between the two characters, right? Between our character and the princess. And you're supposed to sort of build that trust over more and more iterations of learning the truth of what's going on. And if there isn't a key, do you have any other ideas?
Maybe there's some way to break the chains? Or if that doesn't work, I guess we can always cut me out of them.
She offers the suggestion with almost complete nonchalance. If we were stuck down here long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out if it meant we could finally be free. You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here?
Interesting. So we've also had a couple iterations of the cabin itself being alive to some degree. And I wonder if the cabin is either being controlled by the entity or the narrator, or if it actually is a presence all on its own, because that would sort of explain the mirror. This kind of leads into the theory of the cabin possibly being either controlled or an entity of its own. Very interesting. 4. Okay. Hey, let me out of here.
Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
Try the door.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside.
Return to the bottom of the stairs.
You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to.
So I wonder
Easier for whom?
Yeah.
Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before
geez.
raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf.
Well, that explains how she did this last time.
As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now.
Interesting.
Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
And the narrator knows. The narrator totally knows Lying sack of shit. Save the princess. Oh, I like it. I like that this has been a very, like, save the princess iteration.
Fine.
Yes.
Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't.
It's because we know she's powerful.
She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours.
But now we're on the
blood
same
from
side.
her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
And we have to leave. Is the narrator the bad guy? I'm thinking so. I'm thinking the narrator might wind up being the bad guy, because I think... So here's what we know. The last time we did this, we basically did essentially the same thing, where we, like, didn't attack the princess right away, and we just kind of chatted with her. But we didn't go down with the weapon. So we were like, okay, well, after chatting with you, we've decided we're going to kill you. And so we went back up to get the weapon, but she escaped. And, like, we turn around and, like, her... I'm not going to go into the details because I know you're not watching, but basically she escaped. And now we know how she escaped, because she attempted to do the same thing. But, unlike last time, where we were in a threatening position and there was a lot of mistrust between us, this time we've managed to roll in a way that has made us completely trustworthy in every possible way to the princess, other than the lie we told, which I don't know if she knows that we lied, because she, in theory, does, because I'm pretty sure she can read our thoughts. Either she can read our thoughts, or we're literally talking out loud the whole time. So I don't know if she knows that we lied, but otherwise, as far as I can tell, we're completely on the same page and we're, like, trusting each other. The other thing we know is that the princess can't leave the cabin without us, because she has attempted to multiple times, and every single time she has gotten us killed in the process, and we have then talked to her in the next, like, chapter, and she's told us, I can't leave without you, so it's in my best interest for you to stay alive. Now, in one iteration, she told us that, and then she was like, but I'm so petty that I'm just told I hate you so much that I'm willing to die just to listen to you also die, right? In another iteration, she was very like, well, I tried to leave, and I have stuff I want to do to this world, and no, I'm not a good person, I am evil, I'm going to introduce the worst horrors in the world that I can possible. I just need to leave the cabin, but I can't leave the cabin without you. And so that was interesting. So, I don't know. The narrator's the bad guy. The princess, I don't know what's going on with the princess, because in some iterations, she is the bad guy. In other iterations, it seems like she's kind of a victim of whatever this bigger entity is. Or maybe she is the bigger entity, and she just... It's like we're piecing fragments of her back together, and each fragment is kind of like us in that we have all of these different voices talking to us. Maybe she also is a bunch of different voices, and we're slowly piecing those voices back together, and that's what the greater entity is, and that's what it was. That's why it was asking us to find more of these iterations. It's very interesting. Approach the locked door.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape.
The narrator can't let her escape into the world.
As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
No! The narrator is controlling us.
You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Oh my god. There's one option for me to warn her, and there's every single other option is slay the princess. The thing is, I can't select any of the slay the princess options. I can only select the warn her option. So the narrator does have control over us. Interesting. So the narrator isn't just talking about what's happening in the world. He literally can control us if he wants to.
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart.
Okay.
The princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it! Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive.
And again, all of the options are slay the princess, except resist, and resist is the only option I can select.
The blade! Move the blade! As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
This is good.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
No, keep doing
Stay
it.
strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake.
Yes.
For her sake?
Yes!
Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she?
No, she does.
Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her knife work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over.
Then we move into chapter 2.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
So now it's us versus the narrator. Interesting! Chapter 2, The Damsel.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path
Is
is
the
a
narrator
cabin.
going to pretend to not know?
And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay, so we know that the princess has the capacity to be like this super evil being. We know that the narrator has been lying to us this entire time. We know that the narrator is aware of multiple instances of us being here, and that like it's usually a couple times around, sometimes 3 times around. We now also know that the narrator can control us if he wants to. We're also hearing the narrator, and we know that the narrator is pretending not to know us right now. That's something we have to keep in mind. We are for sure aware that the narrator is fully aware that we are here again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's interesting because I'm not 100% convinced that the princess isn't like, because I know in this particular iteration we're doing a whole like save the princess or at least so far, we've been doing a whole very, like, save the princess, be on her side, which has been working out great, and I'm totally finding out so much more information, and it's super cool that it's rolling this way, but I'm not 100% convinced at the whole, like, suddenly we're, like, simping for the princess and everything's working out, and, like, she's on our side and things like that. Like, very easily this could turn, but if this is a whole, like, split personality thing and we're doing different iterations and we're slowly piecing her back together, then this could just be a kind part of her that we are piecing back into this entity. So who knows? We'll see. I do like that because kind of when we get into chapter 2, we're kind of locked into a specific path, and this particular path doing the whole save the princess thing I think is going to change things. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you bastard. You are in for it now. I'm wise to your tricks.
My tricks? What on earth are you talking about? We just met for the first time.
Mm-mm.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be sneaky about it.
Yeah, the voice of the simp is this one.
Our beloved?
Yeah, not beloved.
Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess. Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any and all assassination attempts you've got in the works. We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. Sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek. What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving.
Interesting. Very interesting. Five. Proceed to the cabin.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We already told you we're not playing along with your little game. It's your lies that can't be trusted. Her beauty is the only thing in the world we can believe in. I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice. I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed. Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet. Don't pay their bickering any mind. Focus on the task ahead.
Proceed into the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant,
So
its
pretty.
stone walls draped in fine-threaded tapestries, a prison
mirror's back.
befitting a royal prisoner. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Something else interesting about this mirror is you'll notice that the art style of everything, like every background thing, and I think in some cases like the princess too, is that there's this sort of pseudo animation where it's like it's the image kind of shifting side to side a little bit, but the mirror itself is completely static. This exists in the world as an object separate from everything else, and I think that's a very smart way of like identifying it as something separate. Because the table and the knife are also static, and they're things that you're supposed to like interact in the world with. The mirror is the only other thing that's static. The door shakes, the bricks shake, right? Everything else in the world shakes a little bit. Like even the stars shake a little bit. That's a very clever way of like distinguishing like, hey, this is important, and especially because like the narrator's not mentioning it. And we have now been able to look into the mirror once. So we were able to see ourselves in the mirror, which didn't reveal much, but I do think it's important. Enter the basement. So we just skipped it and the mirror disappeared. Okay.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight. But it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. A soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Her voice, it's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I can hear wedding bells already.
Oh, jeez.
I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning.
Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation.
I do like the
You
difference.
walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall.
My love, we're here to rescue you from your unjust and foul imprisonment.
You know she can't hear you, right?
She may not be able to hear my words, but surely she can hear my spirit.
Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing.
And she called us a hero. Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Waiting for you to come back. I didn't want to believe your ravings back in the woods, but this is next to incontrovertible evidence. You've been here before.
That's right, villain, and you killed us. Well, she killed us. Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty.
And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time. We damned a whole world. But everything reset. Nothing resets. You're just somewhere else. You can't keep hopping between worlds forever. Especially not without leaving a trail of incomprehensible devastation behind you. This is horrible.
Horrible for you, maybe, but we've been given another opportunity to sweep her off her feet and treat her like the lady she is. Now, hold on. If she actually ended a world, are you sure we want to do this? Are you sure we want to rescue her? We never saw a world end, and now I'm even more certain that we must chase our heroic and romantic destiny than I've ever been. I shan't let anyone convince us otherwise.
Are you listening to him? He's lost it. Don't let him distract you. Just do your job.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it was so close to 6. I really wanted it to be 6. I'm sorry about what happened last time. The narrator who sent me here to kill you took over my body. It was extremely unfair.
If another version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
She took that in stride. To a surprising extent. An almost unsettling extent, actually.
That's because she's perfect.
Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do? She doesn't. There's no one else like me.
See, I think she does.
I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
4, 5. 8. 6, 7, 8. What happened after I died? That's actually a really good question.
You died, and now we're talking.
Didn't really answer my question. I kind of wanted to know what happened in between those two things, not just those two things. 2. I didn't bring a knife. Do I have to cut you out again?
I'm okay with whatever you come up with. You can cut my arm off again.
We won't be laying a finger on her perfect wrists, and indeed, we won't even have to. Do you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her right out with no harm done. What? No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. Why are you two arguing over the logistics of slipping her hand out of her shackles? She just said she'd be okay with any idea we came up with. Am I the only one who thinks that's weird? She didn't care last time. Why should she care this time? That's our stoic, smiling angel. No, you're right. It's extremely bizarre behavior and further evidence that she's a monster who's not to be trusted. So go ahead and slay her.
But before we started talking, did the world end? Did you end the world?
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every word that passes through her beautiful lips.
Oh, this guy is killing
Listening
me.
to her, that's a confession.
I don't think it was a confession either. But boy, am I not liking any of this. Oh, I really wish we could have done the rescue option. I think that would have made a much more interesting iteration, but that's okay. 4. Remain silent.
The princess's eyes quiver as she waits for your response.
I didn't end the world?
I didn't end the world.
She's clearly just saying what she thinks you want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Or she's innocent.
No.
How could a beauty like her be capable of ending the world? It's not rational.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because I don't know if it would have been her or if there is another entity controlling her like the narrator is controlling us. And if that entity is the outside entity or if that's... Because that would explain the whole hands thing, right? Like the hands literally controlling her. There we go. Rescue the princess.
No, I can't let you do that. If you take another step towards the princess, I'll... You'll what? Take over our body and force us to try and kill her? I would if you had a weapon.
Aha, but I
Not
don't.
on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a
Now
second
here's something
thought.
interesting.
You wouldn't. I would.
Please
I'd
don't.
listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings. And doesn't the world end if we don't stop her? You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed. I can't believe it. But I guess I have to. I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh. If only you had a weapon, one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade would be buried in her back and everyone out there would be saved. Luckily for Mr. Romance, we don't have a weapon. Who needs a weapon when we have the power of love on our side?
No.
What do we do now?
She could easily kill us still. Here's the thing. She could easily kill us still. What I'm confused about... Because I thought the narrator and the cabin had a sort of connection. Because the cabin locked us in the basement, but also tossed us the knife last time. And I thought that was the narrator, but I'm wondering if the cabin is a different entity now. Well, I mean, I was kind of thinking that the cabin might be a different entity before, but now I'm kind of more leaning towards that, because. And then, secondly, why is the cabin not helping this time? Is it because in this particular iteration, the princess has made the cabin into more of a castle, and now the princess has more control over it, so the cabin can't do things like lock us in and throw daggers our way? What do you want to do? And also, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and the princess just like straight up murder us for just like out of the blue, right?
Let me guess. End the world?
Murder us?
Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
The rank cynicism of someone who's played a video game before.
Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
She doesn't even know what she wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world? You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
I think I want to leave. And I think...
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection. And then she shrugs.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
The only way she can leave is with us. And I think at this point, she would know that, because she killed us last time, and if she tried to leave, she wouldn't have been able to, because we were dead. So now she's still here. I feel like the only way for her to win in this case would be for us to leave with her. And so she's got to be trying everything she can to make sure we leave with her. So she wouldn't want to just murder us. But then how does this end? 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to leave, then let's leave.
That sounds perfect.
Ah, the music stopped. Oh no.
The princess takes your hand, the last hopes of the entire world slipping through your fingers as they intertwine with hers. We have each other. We don't need the world for our happy ending. I like to think that you do, actually. Look, I have my doubts, but the choice has been made and this is happening. You don't have to mope about it. I will mope about it, because moping is the
I
only
will mope about
recourse
it.
You love-blind fools have left me with. You and the princess walk up the stairs, hand in hand. Ugh, the way she's smiling at you. She doesn't have to be so happy about this.
The cabin isn't trying
What
to
happens
stop us.
after we walk up the stairs? Let's see.
Oh, it is.
Isn't that interesting? The door slams in your face and the lock clicks. That's a familiar move.
Yeah.
Did I do that last time?
You
And
did.
should know that you won't be able to leave.
Oh no!
So the
Someone
narrator
locked us in
does
here?
control the cabin.
That's not fair. We're supposed to leave now.
She's right. It isn't fair. But the unfairnesses of the world are no match for the strength of true love. Enough with this true love nonsense. You just met her. Of course you wouldn't understand. Our passions run deeper than anything you have ever known. Are you listening to this? You don't have to go along with the every whim of that delusional voice. I'm just along for the ride at this point.
Interesting. Very interesting. So the narrator does have control of the cabin. So it was the narrator who was doing all that stuff last time. Okay. I think I've got this. Open the door by yourself.
Okay, yeah, you've got this.
You place your hand on the door. And the lock clicks and the door creaks open. Are you kidding me? Ha! I knew it. Your words are no match for the pure strength of our hearts, bound together as one.
Interesting.
You and the princess make your way upstairs, and... Blade, that's right. There's still a chance for you to do the right thing. Take the blade from the table and slay her before it's too late.
So the narrator has some control, but doesn't have complete control? Like, the narrator can control some things, but the princess also has some control over, like, things that are available for the narrator to be able to do, maybe? So, like, the narrator was able to close the door this time, just like he did last time, but maybe the princess's minor bit of manipulation of the cabin made it to where the door couldn't lock, and so the narrator couldn't lock the door. Just like she was able to just slip her hand through the chains this time. That could be. You're not doing that. Oh, the dice have been friendly and have just been going right along with this. I love it.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
I am.
You're taking every opportunity you can to draw out the end of the world and make me suffer.
I am.
I hate you.
The feeling is pretty mutual at this
That's
point.
the way out. We're going to leave together, just like you wanted.
Wait, but kind of just like you wanted.
Yes, I
I
suppose you are going
just-
to do that, aren't you? You cross the room, opening the door to the cabin, and then you step outside.
Huh. Your
Our
level set you
happy
free.
ending at last.
Interesting.
We did it. What should we do now?
Oh, it's enclosing on us again.
Where did everything go?
So this was the first ending,
Where did
sort of.
he go?
The narrator's
is he
gone.
gone? I hadn't noticed. I was too busy staring deep into our beloved's eye.
Interesting. Are we going to get a chapter 3 this time?
Cold. Is being happy supposed to be so cold?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, quick, our feathers. Pluck them all and weave her a coat worthy of a princess.
We have feathers. Okay, good to know. Ah, the hands are back. Okay. So the hands are the entity. So the entity just got another iteration of the princess. But you don't get the chance to make that jacket, nor will you ever. It's time for you to leave. Memory returns. That's good. That's good. We got another iteration
She's
for
gone.
the entity.
Where did she go?
Yeah.
Should we try and find her? Is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
Of course you're scared. This is the end for you, but it's not the end for me. Oh! Wait, so is this part continuing? Oh! Okay, I kind of see what's happening. So this part, we're in the space between. This part continues between iterations because it exists between iterations. We, as the player, know this place, and that's why our selections reflect us knowing this place. That's why we can say things like, of course you're scared, this is the end for you. All of the voices in our head are going to end upon the end of this iteration, and once we start chapter 1 over again, then it all starts over again for the voices. But for us, this is us. Like, we know this, and we've seen this before, so we're here again. This is cool. Oh, I love this. Okay, alright, I'm in. Let's do this. So yeah, the entity that's been consuming the different iterations of the princess to kind of slowly grow and learn just got a new iteration. I believe that is exactly what's happening. It's going to be okay, just trust me. We've been here before and you always get scared.
But it feels so bad. Like, looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything.
I wonder if we're going to be able to see more of us this time if we look into the mirror.
Yes. I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt, right?
Also, we have feathers. Apparently we have feathers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll see you on the other side. It's going to be okay.
Okay. If you say so.
I do say so.
We'll trust you. She'll be there waiting for us.
I just know it.
So the narrator doesn't exist within the space between. Approach the mirror. You approach the mirror. Gaze into your reflection. Silence. As you reach forward, they're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. Is it going to be more of us? You've grown. Oh. Yes. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. The long quiet. That's what this space between is called. Okay. Proceed to the cabin. You are at the cabin. Approach her.
Flickering lights in empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before.
I feel like we're progressing pretty well, considering
Whenever you are ready,
the dice have...
I will wipe your slate clean once again.
Yeah, I feel like we're progressing pretty well, considering that the dice are basically deciding everything for us. We've actually been progressing fairly well through this, I feel like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Holy shit. I lost count, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I'm just gonna roll a d20 because I'm pretty sure it's probably another one of those like really high number of options. 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There was exactly 14 options. I'm ready to go back. Oh, we're not even gonna ask questions. Come on.
I await your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
God, that's always so sudden. But it is glass shattering, so I'm wondering if that's the mirror shattering. Chapter 1, The Hero and the Princess. Bring the damsel
You're
to
on
her.
a path in the woods.
Okay.
And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Yeah, okay, so none of these are the same. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I think it's 8, right? We usually roll, or no, it's 12 for the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, there's 11 options, so we roll a 12. 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay, thanks for telling me what to do.
Don't mention it. It's all part of the job.
I wonder what we're going to do this time.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Proceed into the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Take the blade.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Okay, so this is so far going the same way our first iteration did.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp. a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Four. Continue down the stairs.
Good. You're still listening to reason. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
What? No way. Why would you even think that?
That giant knife you're holding kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. Who'd want to have a conversation at knife point? We should drop it. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. Killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
That's cocked. 4. Tighten your grip.
You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
So far, this is going the same
You step
way our
forward,
first iteration.
your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
But the second chapter of our first iteration
I'm probably
was
chained up in
wildly
this basement
different.
for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it.
Yeah, and she literally beat the crap out of us the
So,
first time.
you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
What if she isn't bluffing? What if she kills us? Because she has before.
You go into this expecting to die. You're going to die.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other?
Drop the blade. It's like going exactly like
The
our
blade
first one did.
tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Reinforcing the idea that like trust is super important. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One. Yeah, it's pretty awkward.
I know. I just said that. Now why are you here to kill me?
I have my reasons. Do you think I'd just come here to kill someone without even knowing why? That'd be ridiculous.
And yet you hesitated the moment you saw me. And you dropped your knife. If killing me was really that important, you'd have a little more gumption, don't you think? So, someone put you up to this, right? And whoever it is, it's probably the same someone who shoved me into this dark pit and chained me to a wall.
That's a fair question. Who chained her in this basement, and if she's so dangerous, how did they manage to trap her? Why have we been left to do their dirty work? Don't give away the game, and don't let her distract you. That's exactly what she wants.
I'm right, aren't I? So who put you up to this?
These are excellent questions, actually, because it's something that we, as the players, don't really know, right? Like, we still don't know who trapped her. We can assume it's the narrator. And that follow-up question, though, from the hero is, we don't know what trapped her, and if she is so powerful, which we know she is, how did they do it in the first place? Because that is also a great question. I'm assuming it has something to do with the fractured mind, right? The fractured entity. Like, maybe the princess being here isn't actually the full power of the entity, and like whoever it was, the narrator or whoever it was, just trapped like a fraction of her. Or maybe she's like fractures multiple, like plural, are trapped all over the place, and we're slowly piecing together an entity that was originally trapped for a reason. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some interesting stuff. Okay, we've talked enough.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
This is very similar to how the first one, where we asked like
know
one question,
why
we were
you're
like,
here.
all right, we're done. Ooh, I'm getting you out of here, examine the chains. Now, this is a deviation of our first one. We slayed the princess. We attempted to slay the princess on our first one, and she beat the crap out of us. And then just ripped the chains out of the wall. Because she's apparently strong enough to do that. Which is also interesting why she felt the need to escape by other means in other iterations.
Oh, you have to be kidding. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
But she can.
I'm guessing you don't have the key.
Correct.
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
And if there isn't a key, do you have any ideas?
Well, you do have that big, sharp knife. You could always cut me out of here.
She speaks with almost complete nonchalance.
So this is
If
nice.
we were stuck down here for long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out.
Because this is the same
Anything to
conversation
finally
we
be
just
free.
had in our third iteration. But on our third iteration, we
You
were
attempt
going
make
to
your way
save
out of
her the
basement,
entire
but
time.
the door at the top of the stairs slams shut.
Now she doesn't
You hear
trust
the
us
click
as
of a
much.
lock sliding into place.
So this is exactly what the narrator did last time, right?
Someone else here.
So this is going the same way, but now the narrator doesn't have to throw the knife down to us because it's already down here, which changes the entire atmosphere of our relationship with the princess. But it is the same thing, so this is good. We're getting good data here. Hey, let me out of here.
Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
Try the door.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
Return to the bottom of the stairs.
You make your way back to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd simply slain her like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
It's the same conversation, but her tone is
The
different.
knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
Yeah.
You won't like what happens if you do that.
And the narrator's tone is different too. That's the same line the narrator gave us last time before this decision. And the narrator's tone is a lot different this time, though. That's interesting. Save the princess. Oh, this is perfect. This is so good. We're redoing the same steps, but with the opposite tone.
Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain.
Because I'm assuming the princess is still going to kill us in this chapter, but the next chapter, I'm curious if it's going to be the castle
You
again.
make quick work of it.
I'm
Before
curious
long,
if we'll
you're
have
able
the
to crack
smitten
through
or if we'll
bone.
have the
She
paranoid.
pulls the bleeding stub of her arm through the iron gauntlet.
Even her eyes are completely different in this
She
iteration.
didn't so much as utter a sound. Free from her bindings, the princess turns to face you, her fierce
She's not
gaze
smiling.
meeting your eye.
She's not smiling like she
How
was
is
last
she so
time.
composed after losing an arm? It's like she isn't even bothered by it.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
Yes. The tone is completely different. I love it. Approach the locked door.
No, we won't have any of that.
Yes.
The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world.
Right, so the narrator's going to take over our body again.
I just can't let her escape into the world.
And then she's going to kill us.
As the princess approaches
Is
the
she
bottom
going to
stair,
know this
your
time?
body steps forward and raises the blade.
Is she going to know that we're being possessed?
Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that.
Because we're going to be able to warn her again, right?
Watch me.
Oh! This time it's completely different. This time we do have all of the options to slay the princess available for us to click. Last time we couldn't choose any of the slay the princess options. We had to warn her. We didn't get the choice. Now we have the choice. And I mean, I can roll, but I don't even know how many options there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh god, there's like I'm gonna roll 20. I'm gonna roll 20. Literally, there's a 5% chance that we warn her. $16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13 was warn her. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. There's technically 21 options. So theoretically, I should have given it less chance to warn her, but I'm going to choose the 16th slay the princess. So 13, 14, 15, 16.
You bring the blade down and plunge it into the princess's back. Finally. Okay. There's no going back now. Though the blade left a deep gash in her shoulder, she barely so much as flinches, turning around to stare at you incredulously.
Are you serious?
I kind of wish we had warned her.
I don't know what came over you, but if we're doing this, I guess I'll have to kill you.
This is interesting.
Do
This is
you
still
think
good
I need
information.
both of my arms to do that? I can beat you to death with one,
I am not surprised.
but I don't have to tell you that. I'll go ahead and show you.
I'm well aware. You don't have to show me. We've done this before. Slay the princess.
Thank you. You swing your arm towards her throat, the blade singing through the air. But she's ready for it. She grabs your arm, her grip like a stone vice.
Oh, we do have feathers.
You drop the blade, pathetically. She lets go, and faster than you can react, rears back and hits you with a bone-shattering haymaker. There's a ringing in your ears. You're fairly certain you can feel bone grinding against bone where she fractured your jaw, but your body isn't allowing you to feel much right now. Adrenaline coursing through your system and numbing your nerves. You fall to your knees. You're barely able to bring your trembling arms up to defend yourself before she hits you again. Every blow is as punishing as the first. You feel bones shatter with every impact, unknown ruptures blossoming with blood somewhere inside of you.
Poor thing. I'll go ahead and put you out of your misery.
She places a confident heel on your chest and pushes you down to the ground. Her knee falls to your throat, your windpipe crushed beneath a weight you didn't think her slight form could possibly possess. It can't just end like this, right?
It won't.
I'm sorry, but it's over.
It's not.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
But she can't leave. The tower. Did we have the tower last? Was the tower the first iteration?
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Roll an 8. 7. Turn around and leave. Oh, we're doing like the exact same as the first iteration.
You have already committed to my
Ooh.
completion. You cannot go further astray.
Oh. Hey. Okay. So it's not letting us redo the first option, the first iteration again. That's kind of cool. Okay. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm getting a terrible sense of deja vu because that's the entity. This is the entity talking. This isn't the princess.
A terrible sense of deja vu? No, you don't have that. This is the first time either of us have been here.
No, it isn't.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. What does
Nope.
it matter what
Oh,
he
there it is.
knows?
Voice of the
There's
broken.
nothing
Okay.
we can do to stop her. She's just going to kill us again. She is not going to kill you unless you let her. But slaying the princess and saving the world is going to be much more difficult than it has to be if you spend the whole time second-guessing yourself.
This is more than just deja vu, though. I'm pretty sure this whole thing literally just happened.
It hasn't. Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I.
Let's assume I'm telling the truth.
Those are
We've done
two
this one.
very different questions, but fine. I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving.
Uh-huh.
Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me.
Uh-huh.
You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me.
Uh-huh.
Of course we died. She didn't feel pain. She didn't feel much of anything, did she? And she broke every bone in our body before she decided to let us die. What were we supposed to do to stop her then? What are we supposed to do to stop her now? It's pointless. She's just a princess. Slaying her shouldn't have been difficult, but congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. The princess killed us and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would? If she ended the entire world, why should we even bother? We might as well just walk up to that cabin, break her chains, and let her do whatever she wants.
It's actually not
It's
a bad
all
idea.
the same in the end.
Because it would
Just
give
because
us a
she's
different
capable of ending
iteration.
the world doesn't mean you're not capable of slaying her. Both of those things can be true at the same time. So chin up. I believe in you.
What I'm curious about, and less curious and more just kind of wish, I kind of wish the us version of us, right? Not the voices, but the us version, the one that exists in the long quiet. I wish that could talk. Like, because we can talk, but we can't seem to talk about the stuff that happens in the long quiet in these particular iterations. Because it would be great if we could, like, tell the narrator, like, hey, we're doing a thing. Just shut up. Let's talk about this princess.
Just be quick about it.
Is there anything we haven't talked about before? 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I think when we approached this question last time, we just, like, walked up to the cabin, right? All she did last time around was beat me to death. How can someone like that end the world?
She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that what I'm saying is true, and that, despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you. We're not. We might as well just pledge ourselves to her and stop pretending that we're capable of doing anything in this situation. She probably doesn't even need to try to overpower us. Can we tone down the pessimism just a smidge?
Just a smidge.
I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just being realistic. You're being annoying. Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do, don't pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely catastrophic that would be for everyone, yourself included.
She killed me last time around. How can I make sure that doesn't happen
Like
again?
I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me.
Don't
Talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world.
Oh, did that turn off auto? I clicked thinking it would skip, but I think it just turned off auto. Who locked her in that basement? What is this place?
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
Right. It would be nice if we could get some new information. If people locked her away, why couldn't they slay her? Why is this falling on me? This is a good question.
I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special. You're the only person capable of doing this. Call it a prophecy, if that helps, but it's just the way things are. Oh, I didn't know we were special. Of course you're special. Why else would you be here?
See, the narrator is
Who cares if you
more
think we're
manipulative than
special?
the princess is.
As far as I can tell, the only thing special about us is that we get to experience painfully dying all over again.
The princess has been very straightforward with us this entire time. The narrator has been incredibly manipulative. Granted, the princess has murdered us several times, but at least she wasn't manipulative about it. That's all.
Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Proceed to the cabin.
A warning before you go any further.
Uh-huh.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Lying? Cheating? Why would she even bother? She didn't need to do anything like that last time.
Exactly.
She caught us off guard last time. We'll be fine. Let's just keep our wits about us. At least one of you still has a shred of sense. Just make sure you listen to him, and not that whiner.
So last time we had the pessimist with us, and the pessimist basically said the same thing and was like, why would she need to do any of that? She was able to just kill us. Like, why?
If that's what you want, I guess I don't have a say here.
It wasn't as sad, but it was very realistic. Like, no, she doesn't need to do that. Like, why would you even suggest that she would?
The interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
So this is a lot different. Okay.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Why do we feel so small? We don't feel small. We are small.
Oh, wrong one. That's 10. Enter the basement. So we're skipping the mirror, and we're not asking any of the other questions. We're just going straight into the basement. I kind of like it. All right.
No blade this time. Yeah. Maybe she'll be more receptive if we're unarmed. Blade, no blade. It doesn't matter. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from below. For a moment, you almost feel at ease. Huh. This is actually kind of nice. But it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her booming voice rolls up the stairs.
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on the stairs. Come down and witness me.
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. She wasn't like this last time. You shouldn't have come down here unarmed. We need to get down there. She wants us to see her. We need to see her. Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago you were going on about how pointless everything was. Now you want to go down there. It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess.
This is good. This is good. Continue down the stairs.
Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the weak starlight, her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist to the far wall. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
The little bird has returned to me. I wonder what he wants. I see your hands are empty. You've already given up, haven't you? You aren't even going to try and kill me. How sweet. And more than a little disappointing.
Interesting.
She's disappointed in us?
Kneel.
The script said I, but it sounded like she said we. And I don't know if that was just my brain not hearing it correctly, but it definitely sounded like she said we, which could be very telling if that's the case. Kneel. Ah.
On her command, you fall to the floor, knees painfully connecting with hard stone.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk? The last time we met, you tried to kill me. And yet here you are again. This time groveling at my feet. What a wretched sight. What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death? Speak.
The last time we met? I suppose that lends credence to our conversation in the woods. Still, whatever you do, don't tell her why you're here. It's best not to give her any ideas.
don't think I can refuse her, sorry.
Are you serious? Just don't say anything. How hard can it be to not say anything?
You haven't felt her angelic fingers run along the edges of your mind. You haven't felt her nails dig into your thoughts.
You're supposed to end the world.
You weak-willed buffoon.
Is that so?
The princess closes her eyes in contemplation.
Something about that thought wraps itself around my heart. It feels like a fundamental truth to my being that I'd somehow forgotten. The collapse of the old is a necessary prelude to the birth of the new, and the world as it is now is overdue for alterations. It's time for me to seize my destiny, and you, little bird, will help me seize it.
She's inevitable. There's nothing else for us to do but help her. Maybe she'll be nice to us.
So, for a minute there, I thought she was just calling us Little Bird because, like, it was just a cute pet name, but I keep forgetting that we have feathers, and so we probably do look like some kind of bird, and so she's calling us Little Bird because we're literally a bird, maybe? 5. What happened to you after I died?
Know the limits of your privilege, little bird.
Aw.
There's an empty place at my side for you to fill, if you'll have it. But it is not a place for an equal. It is a place for something worthy to be kept. A priest, perhaps, or a pet.
It's interesting, because, like, if I weren't rolling for all of my choices, I would be looking at this from a point of view of, like, yeah, no, let's just go with it, and then let her take us out of the cabin so that the entity could just take her. Because this would be a very interesting iteration for the entity to take over. And we know that she won't end the world, because the entity would just take over before she gets a chance to. But I guess let's see what happens. Because it might wind up just going that way anyways. It might just be leaning that direction. What would you have me do? What have you planned?
All you have to do is break these chains and set me free.
But you can do that. Yeah, if you're so powerful, can't you just break the chains yourself? I'm yours to command. Pledge yourself to her. Okay.
Your will was so easily broken. Am I that magnificent?
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really
All
matter.
you need to do now is break my chains.
If this is what you want, then I guess there's not much else for me to say.
Good.
No, you can't just give in to her. Not when the stakes are so high. Not when you're so close. I won't let you do this.
You said that last time.
There's still something in the way. A greasy film inside of you where it doesn't belong, trying to conceal you from me. Is that a person? No, it used to be a person. It's something different now. An echo.
Interesting. Oh, and the
Is
glass
she
behind
talking
her.
about you? That's impossible. She's not supposed to be able to interact with me.
You're a small one, aren't you?
Ooh.
A shriveling little worm stretched beyond its limits, trying to control things that it can't understand.
No. What are you talking about? I'm just...
I don't care what you are.
She
You're
can
mine.
hear us. Confirmed.
Ah!
Rise, my little bird.
Without hesitation, you're brought to your feet.
Ooh.
Break my chains.
She now controls the
How are we
narrator.
supposed to do that? We don't even have a weapon. All you need to do is believe it's been done.
Yes. Yes. Oh, this is such a good iteration because now we're getting to understand more of how the world works. It's all about the narrator is all about like the belief of what's happening, and that's why when we were in control in the second chapter of the last iteration, when it was no, I've got when the door was closed and locked, and me as the character was like, no, I've got this, and I was just able to open the door. That's why the narrator was so confused. Like, the door just opened. I don't understand. This shouldn't have happened because the narrator closed the door, and then we believed we could open it, so we did. That's important. And that just, her sentence just now, as the narrator, just confirmed that. Oh, this is so good. And you can see the stained glass window behind her has the hands, right? It's the entity, like, it's because she's becoming more of the entity, and like maybe she's remembering herself more and more. Oh, ooh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Okay, break her chains. Yes.
Her chains shatter, and the cuff falls from her wrist. She is loose, and the end is upon us.
What a good disciple you are. Come, it's time for us to leave.
It begs the question, though, because now we know that if she leaves the cabin, the entity is just going to take this iteration of her, right? So she's not going to end the world. We know this as the player. A version of us in the game knows this. The hero, the voices, don't know this. And we'll probably encounter that whole idea again once we go back into the Long Quiet once again. Take her hand. The obedient servant. There she is. Yeah, she gets taken by the entity. Okay then. Okay. But you do not take her hand, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns. Oh, memory returns. So.
Where does she go? Should we try and find her?
So when it says memory returns, that's when we as the player, like our entity, understands it, because our actual memory returns of everything that happens when we come back into the Long Quiet. Okay. Yep. I get this now. Very cool. Of course you're scared this is the end for you, but it's not the end for me.
What is that supposed to mean? Whatever awful thing I felt before, it feels so much worse now. This is what we all deserve, isn't it?
Approach the mirror. Did we grow again? Gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward, they're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. The decay. You've withered. Interesting. You find yourself in the Long Quiet once again. Proceed to the cabin. Oh, look at this! You are at the cabin. She's different now. She's her tower self instead of the previous iterations.
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same.
Okay, so yeah. She's so much bigger. I wonder if this is because that particular iteration of her was bigger and we were small, or if this is because she's growing as we complete more iterations. Ooh, this is so cool. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8. How many more vessels do I need to bring you?
We will know when we near our destination.
So we're not even close. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How can you stand to be a contradiction?
As easily as you can stand to be you. You are like me. Even if you have chosen not to look at the corners of you that do not fit. Even if you have chosen to ignore the brilliant contours of your soul.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3. What do you think of this vessel?
This one is Dominance, a figure capable of bending everything to her will. She will make for a terrifying and divine heart. Do not mourn her, for she would not be able to mourn you.
Interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you know what happens to the worlds we leave behind?
My perspectives are shadowed. You have seen what I have seen, just as I have seen what you have seen. The angles of my vantage do not offer me hidden truths, and my attention is turned inward, except when you are here with me. Perhaps this will change when our work is done.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want to go back anymore. I just want to stay here forever if I have to.
If you need time, then I will wait with you.
Continue to wait forever.
You are as I am now, and forever is a long time to remain undone. I am not you, but I know that I would return before forever was finished. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage. You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
Oh, shit. It just ended. What a great way to end that. So the game's not over. I'm assuming that's just its way of being like, yep, that's a shutdown option. Interesting. Well, as interesting as that was, I think I'm going to call it there for the night. What a great place to end that. So this is a wild game. This is really, really cool. Really enjoying it. So here's where I'm at. I would love to continue playing this because I would love to see this to the end. That was a great place to end it, especially because we're only like 10 minutes away from the end of the stream anyways. So we're just going to go ahead and call it a little early. But yeah, here's what I'm going to say. If you're watching up to this point, if you wind up watching the VODs, anything like that, between now and Friday, not Friday, between now and tomorrow, I guess, huh? Because I'm streaming again tomorrow. Wow. I mean, I guess it would make sense just to continue streaming this again tomorrow too, right? Here's what I'll say. Let me know. Do you want me specifically to go back to streaming Baldur's Gate and continuing Lindsay's Roll for Choices run? Or am I good to continue playing Slay the Princess at least one more night? Because I think if we do it one more night, we'll probably get to a more solid ending. But, yeah. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit so I can hear myself think. tried a couple new things out tonight, and I was kind of noticing throughout the stream my frames were dropping quite a bit. I don't know if that was from the game or if that's from some of the new stuff. I installed some new hardware, which should have just made things better. I don't know why it would have made things worse, but something else that I did too was that I tried to do some simulcasting. I think that messed with some of my settings, because I think I had to set up kind of the way I simulcast. I had to set some new plugins up into OBS, and I think that might be messing with how the encoder is encoding, and that might be the cause of some of the dropped frames. I stopped casting to YouTube fairly early on because I was just dropping frames like crazy and it was dropping the stream. So what I will say to that is that I will try again tomorrow. I'm probably going to just remove the multi-stream plugin. I don't think I'm going to be able to multi-stream without upgrading some of my computer stuff. Unfortunately, I'm assuming it's probably my CPU specifically that's preventing me from being able to multi-stream properly. But weirdly enough, my connection seems to be fine. It's just I'm having like encoding issues. And I think, if I had to guess, I think that has to do with the plugin. Because I think the plugin was expecting me to encode at a different rate to YouTube than I was to Twitch, and that I think that threw it for a loop and caused it to do some funky stuff. As of right now, I am only streaming to Twitch, but I think because I haven't like restarted my computer, some of those settings might still be having an issue. So I think what I'm going to do is just we're going to go ahead and call it a wash on the multi-streaming, the simulcasting part, and I'm going to reset a couple things before tomorrow. We're going to just get rid of the plugin altogether, and tomorrow we will just stream to Twitch. And that should hopefully just fix everything, and if it doesn't, then I'll have to look more into hardware issues. But, like I said, I only upgraded hardware. I don't see any reason why that would cause problems. That all being said, thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. If you're watching a VOD and you want to check out more, we'll be live again Wednesday night. Jeez. Playing spooky games, a car backfires right outside. I think you're dropping frames now. Oh, that's not good. Well, we're at the end anyways. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching a VOD and you are interested in checking out more, check me out tomorrow. Wednesday night, we'll be live again at 6 p.m. Pacific, streaming until 10 p.m. Pacific. If you are interested in following the channel because you want to see more, I'm currently, I think we're officially going to wind up changing the schedule to Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't want to say that that's the official yet just because things are a little bit up in the air, but I did have another DM meeting last night and it was a lot of fun, and it does seem like we are going to just start doing some more consistent stuff starting in December, but I don't know if we're trying to keep Mondays free, so we'll see what happens. But for now, we'll definitely be back tomorrow night. We'll definitely be back Friday night. And as for next week, if we can't do Monday, then we'll be back Tuesday. But otherwise, I'll keep you posted. Thank you so much for watching. Follow me over on YouTube if you want to catch any videos that I make over any of the stuff that I'm playing, and keep following me here on Twitch if you like seeing it live and want to chat and hang out. We'd love to have you. I'm gonna go because apparently I'm dropping frames like crazy, and yeah, it doesn't look great. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.